Here are our last 4 examples. For this one, I want you to go back and do the AC method just to review, make sure you've got it down. Remember, the first step is the same. We do the AC diamond regardless of which method we're using, well, except for guess and check. So AC would be -20, B would be -8. What two numbers could I multiply to give me -20, but add to give me -8? Well, 10 and 2 would work if I make the 10 negative, because then I'll have -10 times 2 is -20, and -10 plus 2 is -8. Again, if you can't see that easily, just list the factors of -20 and you'll find it. Now, rather than taking 5a and putting on top of each of those east and west corners, I'm going to say that -10 and 2 tells me how to split the middle term. So instead of -8a, I'll write -10a plus 2a. Now that I have 4 terms, I group, pull a 5a out of the first pair, a 2 out of the second pair. A minus 2 is left in both of them, and 5a and 2 is left behind. I can check it doing FOIL very quickly. So that's the AC method. Okay, this next one, we'll do the diamond method. All right, so now we've got this one right here. We take AC is 16 and B is 10. What two numbers can I multiply to give me 16 and add to give me 10? Well, that would be 2 and 8. So I put 2x over this one and 2x over this one. 2x divided by 2, that's x over 1. 2x divided by 8, that's x over 4. So I'll change that to x plus 1 and x plus 4. And let me check my work, because I told you to check your work. That's not the same thing. I got an x squared instead of 2x squared. I got 5x instead of 10x. And I got 4 instead of 8. Something happened. What happened? I can't do this. I forgot to take out the greatest common factor. Remember, if you forget to do that with the diamond method, you're completely messed up. So go back. Okay, each of those terms has a 2. Let me factor the 2 out. Now I'll do my AC diamond. A is 1, C is 4, B is 5. 1 times 4 gives me 4. 1 plus 4 gives me 5. I'll put 1x, or just x over the first one, x over the second one, and that gives me x plus 1, x plus 4, but I don't forget I have that 2, that greatest common factor of 2, that I pulled out. Now just one quick thing to note, if you just have a equals 1, it's just a lot easier to do guess and check. Of course, diamond and AC will still work, but generally it's just easier to do the other. Okay, let's do this one here. Now don't forget, greatest common factor, we'll pull the R out. AC, -40, B is 3, let's see, 1 and 40, that won't give me 3, 2 and 20, 3 doesn't go in, 4 and 10, no. How about 5 and 8? 5 and 8 might. Let's see, I want my 8 to be positive, my 5 to be negative. So 8 times -5 gives me -40. 8 plus -5 gives me +3. Put 4r on each of them. Remember to change your variable to whatever variable you have. Now if I simplify these, the first one simplifies, the second one doesn't. So I'd have r plus 2 and 4r minus 5. Now this last one is actually very easy. You could totally do it on your own with guess and check. The only thing that makes it a little bit difficult is the variables. So let's look at that. Now AC, that's still 10. B is -7. Two numbers that multiply to give me 10, that's probably 2 and 5. But then I won't get -7. So how about -2 and -5? Does that work? Negative times negative is positive, so that's +10. -2 minus 5, that's -7. That works. So what do I put on top of -2? If that was an x squared, I'd know what to do, but now I don't know what to do. What you really were doing is you were always taking that middle variable. You were taking the first coefficient and the second variable. So here I'm going to put 1x squared on top of each of those. You could also think of it as being half of your variable, your leading variable. Neither of those simplify, so we just get x squared minus 2, x squared minus 5, and if you FOIL it out, it'll work. So those are our examples for Diamond. On the quizzes and exams, I won't ask you to do it any specific way. You can just pick your favorite. Just be very careful with the Diamond, that you're careful with your variables, you're careful with your GCF, and you're careful with your simplifying. Otherwise, it'll really throw you off.